And welcome. Today, I'm excited to introduce Aoulink, a decentralized ecosystem designed to connect user, technology, and real economy value in one complete platform. In the blockchain industry, many projects focus only on technology, but technology alone is not enough. A successful ecosystem needs real users, real activities, and sustainable economic circulations. That is exactly where Aoulink comes in. Our vision is simple: linking all chains, sharing all value. This means we are not building just another isolated blockchain project. We are creating an integrated ecosystem that combines public chain infrastructure, trading, financial service, wallet functionality, and social networking into one unified platform. Instead of fragmented tools and disconnect applications, users can experience everything in one ecosystem. This creates stronger engagement, better retention, and long-term ecosystem growth. Behind every strong ecosystem, there must be a strong team. Technology alone does not build successful platform. Execution does, and executions come from people with the right experience, the right expertise, and the right understanding of both infrastructure and financial system. There is what we refer to as Aoulink DNA. Our team is built with a combination of blockchain technology expertise, financial engineering capability, and quantitative trading experience. This combination is extremely important because Aoulink is not a single function platform. It combines infrastructure, ecosystem development, financial applications, and long-term value creations. On the leadership side, we have experienced executive guiding the visions and execution of the project. The Chief Executive Officer focuses on strategy directions, ecosystem growth, and business expansions. The Chief Financial Officer brings expertise in financial structuring, capital management, and sustainable economy planning. And the Chief Technology Officer leads the technical architecture, ensuring the infrastructure remains scalable, secure, and future-ready. Beyond leadership, the broader professional team includes blockchain technology experts with deep experience in public chain development and smart contract ecosystem. We also have financial derivative specialists, bringing expertise in structured financial system, market mechanics, and risk management. And important, a quantitative trading team focused on strategy development, algorithmic execution, and market optimizations. Why does this matter? Because building a sustainable Web3 ecosystem requires much more than coding. It requires understanding technology, economy, liquidity, user behavior, and risk management all working together. That is the foundation this team. One of the most important questions is any financial or blockchain ecosystem is trust. People naturally want to know, is the platform secure and is it operating with proper compliance standards? That's exactly what this slide addresses. At Aoulink, security and compliance are treated as foundational priorities, not optional addition. First, let's talk about security. In the Web3 space, smart contract and protocol design are critical. Any weakness in the code can create serious risk. That's why contact architecture and protocol systems are designed with professional audit standards in mind, supported by security review process and transparent operational mechanism. Asset protection is equally important. Strong risk control measures, transparent on-chain visibility, and structured system monitoring are essentials to building user confidence. Now, let's move to compliances. As the blockchain industry evolves, regulatory alignment becomes increasingly important for long-term sustainability. This slide highlights the company's commitment towards operating with formal business structures and regulatory framework. You can see the relevant registration and licensing progress shown here, including international compliance, related entity, and applications. The purpose of this is simple: to demonstrate that Aoulink is building with long-term legitimacy in mind, not short-term opportunist thinking. For user, this creates an additional layer of confidence because when you combine technology, security, transparency, and compliance awareness, you create a much stronger ecosystem foundation. In short, innovation may attract attention, but trust is what creates longevity. To truly understand Aoulink, we need to understand the 4 pillars behind this ecosystem. These are not separate ideas. They are designed to work together. First, the public chain. This is the foundation, the infrastructure, the backbone of the entire ecosystem. Without a strong blockchain foundation, nothing can scale. Every transaction, every interaction, every ecosystem activities need a secure, decentralized infrastructure. That's what the public chain provides. Second, the official DeFi platform. And this is where Aoulink takes a very smart approach. In the blockchain world, many public chains are launched with powerful technology. But then, what happened? They wait. They hope developers come. They hope users come. They hope traffic comes. But many fail because technology alone does not create adoptions. If nobody is using the chain, the ecosystem stays empty. Aoulink understands the challenge. So, instead of waiting for external traffic, Aoulink creates its own internal ecosystem activity. Through its official DeFi platform, real participations happen with the ecosystem. That create traffic. Traffic create activities. Activities create user. And user create long-term ecosystem growth. So, this is not just DeFi. This is an ecosystem activations engine. Third, the wallet. The wallet is your personal gateway into ecosystem. This is not simply asset storage. This is where users connect to service, interact with DeFi, manage digital assets, and participate directly. Think of it as your digital passport into Aoulink. And the last, social ecosystem. Technology alone never creates massive growth. People do. That's why social interactions matter. Because when users connect, communicate, share, and grow together, momentum becomes exponential. When you combine infrastructure, finance, assets, and community, you don't just have a project, you have an ecosystem. Let me explain Aoulink using a very simple analogy. Imagine building a brand new city. Before business can succeed, before shops can make money, and before people can enjoy the ecosystem, one thing must come first: infrastructure. That's why our big idea is simple. Building the highway first, open the profitable shop first, attract traffic, then the whole ecosystem prospers. So what does that mean? The public chain is the highway. A highway by itself has no value if nobody uses it. But once it becomes fast, secure, scalable, and reliable, it becomes the foundations for everything else. Next, come the DeFi ecosystem. Think of this like the commercial shop built along the highway. This includes services like perpetual contract, lending, and hedging strategy. Why do we build this first? Because profitable business naturally attract users. People come where opportunities exist. When we have the wallet, this is the entry gate. Without a wallet, users cannot easily access the ecosystem, manage their assets, or connect to decentralized applications. So, the wallet makes participation simple. And finally, the social system. Because Web3 is not just about technology, it's about community, communications, collaborations, educations, and user engagement are what keep people active inside the ecosystem. Now here, where the real power begins, as more users join, more traffic is created. As traffic grows, more projects want to enter the ecosystem. As more projects join, demand or the Aoulink token increase, and when demand increase, the value of the public chain ecosystem rise as well. So Aoulink is not simply building product, we're building a complete economy highway. One highway, many opportunities and infinite possibilities. Now, let's talk about one of the most exciting part, the Aoulink income engine. A strong ecosystem must have a clear economic engine. Without sustainable revenue, no project survives long term. Aoulink is designed with multiple income streams instead of relying on a single source. This can including trading activities, ecosystem service, launchpad opportunity, marketplace interactions, partnership, and future ecosystem expansions. This creates diversifications, and diversification creates stability. If one revenue stream slows down, others continue supporting ecosystem growth. What makes this powerful is the revenue sharing philosophy. As ecosystem usage growth, revenue growth. As revenue grows, more value can be distributed back into the ecosystem. So, growth is not based on heap. Growth is based on actual usage. That's much healthier long-term model. One of the strongest aspects of Aoulink is community participation. In traditional systems, users simply consume service. In Aoulink, users can become contributors, builders, and ecosystem participations. This creates a core building model. Instead of a company growing alone, the community grows together with the ecosystem. What this is important because Web3 succeeds through network effect. The stronger the community, the stronger the adoptions. The stronger the adoptions, the greater the ecosystem activity. And the greater the activity, the stronger the revenue potentials. This creates a self-reinforcing growth cycle. Users are not just spectators, they become part of the expansions that create ownership mindset, stronger loyalty, and much better long-term momentum. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful growth mechanisms inside Aoulink, community building. In Web3, communities are everything. Technology can attract attention, but community create momentums. That's why Aoulink is designed so that every user has the opportunity not only to participate, but also to build their own community and grow together with the ecosystem. Let me explain how this works. Aoulink has a structured community level system from V1 all the way to V8. As your team total capital grows, your community level increases, and with that, your community reward percentage also become higher. For example, at V1, with a team capital of $3,000 US, the reward percentage starts at 10%. As your team grows to larger level like V4, V5, or even V8, the reward percentage can increase significantly all the way up to 90%. This means the stronger your community becomes, the greater your reward potentials. Now, there is an important balance mechanism there. To qualify for each level, the system does not allow everything to come from only one big team. Excluding your single largest referral community, the remaining combined team structure must still contribute at least 50% for the required threshold. Why? Because this encourages healthy, balanced, and sustainable growth rather than depending on one single leg. Next is peer level reward. Once you reach level V4 and above, if a community members under your network reach the same level as you can receive 20% of their daily community reward. This creates leadership incentive because your success is not only about personal growth, it is also about helping others grow into leaders. And finally, at the highest level, we have community node dividends. When someone reach V8 and successfully develop two separate V8 leaders in different referral structure, they become eligible for ecosystem dividends reward. This is where participations evolve from community building into ecosystem level ownership. So in simple terms, Aoulink reward three things: building, leadership, and long-term ecosystem contributions. This creates a very powerful growth engine driven by people, not just a technology. Now that we understand the community level system, let's look at some practical examples so this becomes very clear. At first, some people may think that reaching a required team capital is simply about hitting the total number, but Aoulink is designed differently. It focuses on balanced sustainable team growth, not dependency on one single large referral line. Let's use V1 as example. To qualify for V1, the total team capital requirement is $3,000 and according to the rules, excluding your largest direct community, the remaining structure must still hit at least 50% of the required threshold. That means the structure must be balanced. Now, let's look at the first example on the left. Here, the total made up is 1,005 and 1,005. This works perfectly. Why? Because even if we exclude one of the largest leg, the remaining side still contributes $1,005, which is exactly 50% of the required amount. So this structure qualifies. Now, let's look at the middle example. Here, we have 2,000 and 1,000. At first glance, the total is still 3,000. So some people may assume this should qualify, but it does not. Why? Because if we exclude the largest leg, which is 2,000, the remaining amount is only $1,000. That is below the required 50% threshold of $1,500. So this structure does not qualify. Now let's look at the example on the right. We have 1,005 and 1,004 plus your own contributions making up the total. This qualifies because the non-dominant structure remains strong enough to satisfy the requirement. Moving now, let's look at the broader team structure. This example shows 1,000, 1,000 and 1,000. This is actually very healthy because the structure is diversified. No single leg dominates the business. Some with a simple showing 1,005, 1,000 and 500. Balance growth remaining intact. And finally, the bottom example shows a much wider structure. Instead of relying one or two strong lines, growth is spread across multiple contributors. This is exactly the kind of ecosystem expansions Aoulink encourages. So the key message here is simple. Aoulink does not reward imbalance. It rewards duplications, it rewards leadership, and it rewards sustainable community buildings. Because long-term success comes from building many leaders, not one giant team. Now, once we move into the higher leadership level, starting from V4, an additional reward layer appears. At V4, with $100,000 total team capital and $50,000 from smaller structure, the community reward becomes 50%. But now leadership incentive begins. If someone in your network reach the same leadership level as you, you may also earn an additional 20% peer level reward from their daily community reward. This same peer level structure continues through V5, V6, V7 and V8. So from this point, growth is no longer just about building volume. It's become about building dealers. Now, let's talk about the income potential based on the community level progressions. This slide gives a projected scenario showing how community growth can translate into daily earning potentials. Now, before we go deeper, it is important to understand that this figure represents scenario illustrations based on the ecosystem activities and reward mechanics. So actual outcome will always depend on performance, participation, and market conditions. With that said, let's look at the progressions. At the entry level, V1, where the requirement is a total team capital of $3,000 with a balanced model structure of at least $1,005. The estimated daily income range is approximately $3 to $10 per day. At V2, as the community expands to $10,000 in the total volume, that estimated range increased to approximately $20 to $90 daily. At V3, with stronger team growth and structure balance, the projections increased significantly to around $60 to $400 per day. Now, that is where things begin to accelerate. Once leadership development starts at V4, the earning model changed. At V4, the estimated range becomes approximately $200 to $1,500 per day. Why the jump? Because this is where peer level leadership reward begins. At this stage, your income is no longer driven only by direct community growth. It also starts being influenced by the leader you help develop. Then at V5, projected income increased further to around $600 to $6,000 daily. At V6, this expands to approximately $2,000 to $21,000 per day, and V7, projected range moved into approximately $6,000 to $80,000 daily. And finally, at V8, the highest community leadership level, the scenario projection reached approximately $20,000 to $90,000 per day, with additional eligibility for ecosystem dividend reward. Now, what is important here is not just the numbers. The real message is the model. This structure is designed to reward scale, leadership, duplications, and long-term ecosystem contributions. The larger and healthier the community ecosystem becomes, the stronger the earning potentials. So, this is not simply about personality activities, it's about building a sustainable leadership network. Let me conclude by sharing the biggest visions behind Aoulink, because Aoulink is not simply about one product, one reward model, or one short-term opportunity. The real vision is much bigger than that. Our goal is to build a complete decentralized ecosystem that generates real, sustainable revenue, where users are not just participants but beneficiaries of the value being created. This is a very important distinction. Many blockchain projects focus heavily on technology, but technology alone does not create lasting success. A blockchain can be fast, a platform can look impressive, but without real economic activities, real user, and sustainable revenue generations, long-term value becomes very difficult to maintain. Aoulink takes a different approach. We are not building just technology, we are building a profit-sharing ecosystem. At the center of this vision, sustainability. That means multiple income engines working together to create continuous ecosystem activity rather than depending on a single source of revenue. Next is the transparency and security. Trust is essential in any ecosystem, especially in Web3. That's why the infrastructure is designed to be decentralized, secure, and transparent, creating confidence for long-term participants. Another key pillar is user-first design. In Aoulink, users are not treated simply as traffic. They are not just consumers, they are partners in the ecosystem growth. As the ecosystem expands, the intention is for the value to be shared with the community that helped build it. And of course, long-term growth remaining at the heart of strategy. This is not about short bursts of excitement. It's about building a self-sustaining ecosystem where more users create more activities. More activities create more value, and more value strengthen the entire network. So, if I have summarized Aoulink in one sentence, it will be this: we are connecting chains, creating real value, empowering communities, and sharing the growth together. This is a big version of Aoulink. Thank you. Let me show you the biggest picture. Aoulink is not just another project. It is a movement towards financial freedom. The famous saying here, the best time to plan was yesterday. The next best time is now. What does that mean? It means every major opportunity reward those who taken actions early. So why now? First, early advantage. Every major ecosystem starts small. The people who see the visions early often benefit the most when adoptions grow. Second, growing ecosystem. Aoulink is not built around just one product. It is building an ecosystem where multiple utilities and services can connect, creating stronger long-term value. Third, the real utilities and demand. This is important. Projects survive only when people actually use them. Utility creates demand and demand creates sustainability. Fourth, strong team and visions. Every success movement is leadership, strategy and long-term executions, not short-term hype. Fifth, global opportunity. Because this is digital, the market is not limited by geography. The potential audience is worldwide. Now, many people ask, why Aoulink specifically? Because Aoulink focuses on several powerful pillars. A real project, not just an idea, but something with a growing ecosystem. Real people, a community of builder, user and leader creating momentum together. Multiple income possibility. Instead of relying on only one model, real impact, helping individuals create opportunities and build confidence. And most importantly, the foundation matter. Aoulink emphasizes security, transparency, sustainability, community, and value creation. So the real question is not whether digital opportunities will continue growing. The real question is, will we position ourselves early enough to benefit? Because the future belongs to those who take actions early. So the future is in your hand.